In this video, we're going to be talking about my personal top 10 tips and tricks for improving your gameplay. My name is Big Botsa. No faffing about in this one, we'll get straight into it. First up, we have medic sprinting. Now, what I mean by medic sprinting, this one is pretty simple, but it has gotten me out of a lot of situations. All you are doing is whilst you are sprinting, when you have no targets in your line of sight, or if you're retreating, you are just running with your medic kit out and holding self-heal. This is a good way to stay alive when you are either retreating, crossing a big open area where you can't see any targets, or even if you've been hit and you're trying to run into cover. If you happen to tune into one of my Twitch streams, you'll see that I do this a lot. This is a core gameplay trick that I always use, and I forgot to mention it in my first tips and tricks video, so this one is up there as one of my main things that you should start implementing if you are running as a medic. On to the second one, sticking with the medic class, but also can be used for any class really, is how to effectively revive someone. So the main rule here is to always check your surroundings before you start reviving. Make sure that the enemy has been dealt with or your teammate is in a safe position to be revived. They're just the common sense tips. Now this tip is more towards the friendlies that are left out in the open and how you can safely revive them. So the first one will be cover. Any class can deploy the cement barricade, which is the half-size cover, but you can deploy that instantly. So pretty much prone, pull out the cover system, select the cement, drop it down, and you should be able to revive your teammate in a safe place. This is a lot better than just proning on the ground and waiting to die like they did. One of the more advanced techniques to reviving someone out in the open is actually dancing on their corpse. This one looks pretty hard to do, but it's very easy. All you do is just flick your mouse back and forth whilst jumping and holding down the revive. You look like an absolute freak. This is actually very hard for the enemy to get an accurate shot on you because you're just jumping around like a dickhead. The last one is a bit more niche, but if you really want to be a good medic, taking the throwable smoke grenades or the smoke grenade launcher and just providing smoke cover before you start a revive. So just pop smoke and then pick your teammate up. Now the next one is pretty cheesy, but it does result in higher kill games. And once again, it's a simple one. Throw your grenades. Each time you respawn, depending on your armor and your loadout, you get throwable grenades. Myself personally, I normally just take the standard frag grenade, which has a timer on it. On intense close quarters maps, if I know I'm running in and dying a lot, before I get into that engagement, I'll normally throw a grenade or two preemptively, just because I think I might die in the few seconds. So what's the harm in throwing a grenade and maybe picking up a kill or a few? There's really no downside to this apart from actually running into your own grenade. Just make sure you're keeping an eye on exactly where you're throwing it and if it's going to rebound at you, because that has happened to me, but very rarely it's happened. This is a very easy way to increase your KD and kills per minute and just your overall end score. Now if you really want to take advantage of that, use the support class. Very easy kills. That's one that I don't even want you to know about because it is very infuriating getting nade spammed by a support class with a resupply box and about 4 grenades on him. Throw nades, throw nades, throw nades, resupply, throw more nades. Yeah, it's crazy that you can do that, but you can. Up next we have magazine management. Now this one you might be thinking, oh, this one's pretty simple. But there's multiple things that you have to be taking into consideration with your mags. The main one that you can start practicing straight away is knowing how many shots you need to kill someone. By doing this small thing, you can try and burst people down with an estimate of how many bullets you've fired. You don't have to be as precise, but this will stop you from spraying and spending an extra 5 or 6 rounds, which then if another enemy runs around a corner, then you can easily flick onto them with half a magazine or a third of a mag, just by starting to not waste your ammunition. Another point to think about is how long you're actually going to survive and how quickly you need your ammunition right now. Seeing that we have the option of reloading normally and keeping the magazine on our person, or we can just quickly dump the mag and chuck a new full one in. This really comes into play if you think you're starting to be in danger or you can hear enemies around you. You want to be dropping your magazines in those situations just to get a gun that's ready to fire quicker. If you are in a safe space, you can still pick up your magazine, let's say if you're prone on the ground, very easily whilst you're still reloading your gun. Once you feel like you're not in danger, then you can pick up your magazine again. Our next tip is target priority. This is one which you'll just get more used to after playing a shooter for more periods of time. Target priority is quickly thinking on your toes of who is most likely to kill you. So in this clip we can see our red dot is near body level while peeking around the corner. I'm not doing a good job because I am aiming at the wall, so that's something I need to fix. But as you can see in the clip, I start to aim my gun at the first thing I see, which is this sniper, but then I actually redirect it to the guy on the floor. Because quickly looking, you cannot see this guy's eyes or his face, so no face, as well as his gun is clearly pointed away from you. So gun facing away, and head is also facing that way, and just his whole body is facing this direction. So he's not a threat at the moment. Where on the floor, we have old mate staring into our soul. As well, we can see that he is alive with his gun. Currently, it's not aimed at us because he is crawling, so it does give us a second to react. And you can see that my gun aim will start going towards the sniper and then actually turn and kill the guy looking at me. So seeing that this guy has a weapon and is looking at us, he becomes our number one priority, and then we can kill the sniper after. This one comes into play heaps when you start flanking. Now when I say flanking, that's going to be its own separate video. So if you're keen for that video, make sure you've hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications as well if you really love me. So one of you guys in the comment section actually told me about this one. Essentially, if your whole squad dies, you have to run back in from your spawn or the nearest objective, which can take some time. Now one way to counter this is actually by getting someone or yourself is to change your squad to a squad that's more engaged or closer to combat. Select one of them, spawn in, you're closer to the fight, and then change back to the squad that you're from, the squad with all your mates or your clan or whatever, and then that way you're spawned in already and you're close to the battle, and then the whole rest of your squad can spawn in on you. That tip was a brain buster for me. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that makes sense, and that's really pog. So if you're looking for high kill games and you're playing with your friends, that's a major tip that I would take into consideration next time. Now speaking of squads as well, I don't think many people know that there are actually clan squads in the game. So if you have your clan, you can actually fit more team members in that clan squad than a regular squad. I believe it's additional 4 people that can fit into a clan squad. Really effective because you have a lot more teammates to spawn on and get back into the combat. And now you're probably thinking, oh shit, I don't have that many friends or a clan myself. Join my clan. We are big. We have over 150 members. This is one thing that I want to use the clan for. If everyone's in a clan squad, then we can all have that advantage. So if everyone joins We Are Big, then we'll have a big advantage. You can join our clan by the link in the Discord, and I leave clan invites all the time in the clan invite tab. The next tip might be a bit unclear, but it is play with confidence. This tip is an actual game changer. You won't realize how much of a difference this affects your gameplay, where if you feel like you're dying a lot, or then you start cowering behind cover and don't want to push out or take a peek, more than likely someone's just going to be beaming around that corner and you're not going to be ready for them. There's been games where I start doubting myself and, you know, just saying things in your head like, oh, that guy's way out of my firing range, I'm not going to be able to hit him. Instead of just shooting, you know, take the shot, fuck it. You don't have much to lose apart from trying to shoot at him. If he can see you, you can see him, just go for the shot. This is something that you'll probably gain more confidence just with the more time that you put into the game and knowing the game, but it really is something to remind yourself of whilst you are playing BattleBit. Now onto my next tip, which is practice. This is something I do myself on the regular, and it helps out a bunch. So when I say practice, just in the firing range. Before you dive into a server, just load up into the firing range, pick a gun, practice your hip firing, practice your ADSing, practice your snap firing, mobility, just jump around and then snap onto your target. It's just really good to practice your aim before you start shooting and aiming at actual moving targets. And then this also leads into the confidence as well. After practicing for a couple of minutes, then you'll have more confidence in yourself to be able to land shots and hip fire at targets better. Trust me, spending a few minutes in here before you start playing will have a great effect on your shooting ability. And last off, to round it out, is find what works for you. Seeing that BattleBit Remastered has multiple playstyles that you can really lean into. For example, if you are lacking that reaction time, I would suggest using the support class, which has heavier armor. And then you can take an extra shot first and then still be able to have the ability to trade and shoot back at a target. If you prefer running gunning, then use the engineer class without any armor or helmet. There's multiple ways that you can play this game. You don't have to be a runner, gunner, SMG, 100% mobility player, or whatever you want to call yourself. If you find that sitting in buildings using a long range assault rifle like the AUG is your playstyle, lean into that. Find out what armor is good for that, what gadgets and attachments will be beneficial for that playstyle, and so on. Now these are my top 10 tips for becoming a better player in BattleBit. Some of these you may have already heard, and some of them I don't think I've heard anyone mention so far, like confidence. And if you still haven't clicked off the video, I'm actually giving you the secret tip of tip number 11, and that is to learn. When I say learn, you're probably going, yuck. Why do I have to learn about the low poly shooter? I just want to jump in, shoot some people, and have fun. Now, when I say learning, it's more about actively thinking about what's going on or reflecting on what has happened and how can I improve for next time when I'm in that situation. This can apply to pretty much everything that I've previously mentioned. For example, target priority. After you get into short engagements, it's always good to think about what I did right, what I did wrong, and how can I improve next time when I get into a gunfight. This was something that I had to learn, which is funny, learning how to learn and improve when I was actually playing League of Legends and trying to reach the highest rank. And you're probably going, ooh, filthy league, what does that have to do? It's just learning how to improve yourself. In League of Legends, I felt like I hit a ceiling at one point, and then I was given the advice to just keep learning. The more you learn about a game, the better that you can play it. Now, even if you don't have the good reaction time, or you get stuffed up with key bindings and you can't pull out your C4 like me, you can still keep your mind active and process information rather than playing passively and just moving forward, essentially. I don't know if I'm explaining this as best as I can. It's very hard to put into words. Or I guess the more common one is just learn from your mistakes, try and figure out what you can do next time in that situation. That's pretty much it for this video. If I haven't explained anything well enough or you're looking for additional information on it, please leave a comment in the comment section below. I pretty much get back to every single one of you guys, and I just appreciate your time leaving a comment, so I'm more obliged to respond to you guys, as well as just tune into a stream and ask a question if you want a direct answer. I know I don't stream much, it's pretty much on Saturday nights at the moment. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope these tips and tricks help you out, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Big Buster.